Okay, so have you heard just how hard it is to get a job these days? I mean, for young people especially, it's like a whole different world than what our parents dealt with.
Oh, absolutely. And that's really where Lyndon Thorpe's work is so helpful. She's
Yeah.
not talking about just the job market broadly. She's been working right in the thick of it for 20 years in Japanese universities, helping students figure out their careers.
And what's so interesting was she isn't coming at this just from like the academic side either.
Yeah.
Lyndon actually went and made a huge change herself, moving from academia to being a digital entrepreneur. So she gets it from both angles.
Yeah, exactly. What Lyndon saw firsthand is that there's this gap now between what traditional education is setting students up for and then what the job market actually looks like. It's not even that young people aren't qualified, it's that the jobs just aren't there the way they used to be.
Something that really hit me from one of her articles was this. Lyndon talks about how even in Japan, where everyone thinks it's all lifetime employment, even there, companies are getting more and more hesitant to hire new grads. They're looking for people with experience, which leaves young people in a really tough spot.
And that's not a trend that's going away. If anything, it's going to get more and more competitive. Automation, the gig economy, all of that is reshaping how work even functions.
It can feel kind of overwhelming, honestly.
Yeah.
But what I like about Lyndon is she doesn't just focus on the problems, she actually offers solutions.
Right, and her experience in Japan is really interesting here. Because as she points out, Japanese culture has always put a lot of emphasis on self-reliance and resourcefulness.
So they're almost already kind of set up for this new way of working where you have to create your own opportunities.
Exactly. And that's why Lyndon believes the key, especially for those 18 to 25-year-olds, is to stop thinking about jobs the way we used to and start thinking like entrepreneurs.
And here's where it gets really interesting. She's not saying everyone has to become the next Mark Zuckerberg. It's more about using the internet and tech to create your own income, your own businesses.
What Lyndon emphasizes is how much the internet has leveled the playing field. You don't need a bunch of money or connections to start. You could build a business online from anywhere, literally just a laptop and internet.
So basically she's saying instead of waiting for a job to appear, young people need to create their own jobs.
Exactly. And she's not just talking about this theoretically. Lyndon made that transition herself in her 70s. She launched her own digital business. So it's proof that it's possible. Age really doesn't matter.
That's incredible. She's such a great example for anyone who's feeling stuck or unsure about what's next. It's like she's saying, if I can do it, you can too.
And she doesn't just say it, she gives you actual advice.
Yeah.
Lyndon created resources like her Mindful Goals template. It helps people figure out what they want to achieve and then make a plan to get there.
I also really like how much she talks about community, finding your tribe, those people who get it, who can support you and give advice and keep you going.
And that's where her work with young people comes through again. Lyndon gets the challenges they're facing, and she offers guidance and support to navigate this whole new world of work.
So to anyone listening who's maybe feeling lost or overwhelmed by the job market, Lyndon's message is this. It's time to change how you think about it. Embrace being an entrepreneur and start creating your own opportunities. And she's got the tools and the experience to show you how.
It's not about waiting for someone to give you permission or a job. It's about taking charge of your future and building something for yourself. And that kind of leads into another big part of what Lyndon does. She gets into the specifics of how to actually start building an online business.
Yeah, I thought that was super helpful. She doesn't just say, be an entrepreneur. She actually breaks it down into steps. She really encourages people to focus on getting what she calls a digital skill set.
Exactly. She talks about how there's all these resources online now to learn things like coding web design, digital marketing, managing social media. All those skills are in such high demand these days, and you can literally learn them from anywhere.
It's almost like she's made this roadmap for people who are feeling lost. She's giving concrete examples, like Coursera, edX, Udemy, all these platforms where you can get real education without going broke.
And it's not even just about those technical skills. Lyndon also talks about the importance of soft skills,
Okay.
things like communication, problem solving, thinking critically, being able to adapt.
Which are probably even more important now that everything's always changing, right?
Absolutely. And she even gives you exercises and techniques to develop those skills, like her financial mastery flip book. It walks people through the basics of money management, which is so important when you're starting a business.
I really appreciate that she doesn't shy away from the money side of things. It's not all just about following your dreams. You got to be practical and know how to actually make money.
Right. And Lyndon uses real examples, both from her own experience and from other people who have successfully built businesses online. It's not just theory, it's stuff that actually works.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening and they're like, I'm in, I want to try this digital entrepreneurship thing. What should they do? Where do they even begin?
Well, Lyndon actually put together a whole list of resources specifically for young people who are trying to get started. She recommends these online platforms where you can connect with mentors, find people to collaborate with, even get funding for your ideas.
It's like she's created this whole support system. It's not just throwing you out there and saying good luck.
Exactly. One thing that really stood out to me was her focus on finding your niche. Figuring out that one specific area where you can really excel and build a loyal following.
Makes sense.
Mm.
It's way easier to be successful when you're focused on one thing rather than trying to do everything.
For sure. And Lyndon has a whole framework for how to do that, how to figure out your passions, your skills, what the market needs. She wants people to be creative, think outside the box, experiment, and try new things.
It's all about giving people the power to take control of their own futures and build careers that they actually enjoy and can make a living from.
And she really emphasizes that it's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight.
Mm.
It's going to be challenging. There will be setbacks. But if you have the right mindset, the right skills, and the right support, it's totally achievable.
So for anyone listening who's feeling stuck or like the job market just isn't working for them, Lyndon's message is, there's another way. It's time to embrace the internet and that entrepreneurial spirit and start building the future you want.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are resources and communities and mentors out there who want to help you every step of the way.
And speaking of resources, Lyndon's articles have links to all the platforms and tools she recommends. We'll put those in the show notes too, so make sure you check those out.
One last thought. The thing that's so inspiring about Lyndon is that she's not just talking about this stuff. She lived it. She made this change later in life, which proves it's never too late to reinvent yourself and find a career you actually love.
So what are you waiting for? Time to dive in and start building your own future. It's funny when we say future of work, it's like this thing way off in the distance, but Lyndon's showing us it's already here. It's happening now.
Oh, yeah. For young people especially, it's like, I gotta understand those old rules. They just don't work anymore. Waiting for some company to hand you a job and say, here's your career, that's fading fast.
So it's about taking control, right? Building your own thing, your brand, your own safety net.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Lyndon's a perfect example. She didn't wait for anyone to say, okay, you can be an entrepreneur now. She just did it. And by doing that, she made a career for herself, but also found a way to help tons of other people too.
It's like she's saying, don't just look for a job, look for a problem. Find something people need or want, and then use the tools we have today to provide it.
Exactly. That's where the creativity comes in. The internet has opened up so many possibilities, so many ways to connect and share your ideas. It's actually a really exciting time to be an entrepreneur.
And I like that Lyndon doesn't pretend it's easy. She's upfront about the hard work and dedication and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone.
But she also makes it clear how rewarding it is, both personally and professionally. There's just this satisfaction you get from building something yourself, seeing your ideas actually make a difference in the world.
And that sense of purpose, that feeling of making an impact, that's something you don't always get from a regular job.
Totally. And Lyndon's final message is, don't be afraid to think big. Don't let fear hold you back. The world needs what you've got, your talents, your ideas, your perspective.
So go out there, explore what you're passionate about, experiment, take some risks, and build something amazing. And remember, Lyndon's proof that it's never too late to start.
Like she always says, best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today.
So what are you waiting for? Start planting those seeds today and watch your future grow.